Hi, I'm Jake, and today we're going to be learning about direct and indirect objects. A direct object follows a transitive verb. A direct object can be a noun, pronoun, phrase, or clause. And then to find the direct object in a sentence, you're going to need to use this formula. In that formula, you're going to need to find your subject of your sentence plus your verb, and then you're going to have to ask the question, what or who? And then that will give you your desired direct object. For an example, Jimmy baked cookies. Now you're going to take your subject from your sentence, Jimmy, take your verb, which is baked, and then you're going to ask the question, what? Baked what? And he baked cookies. And that is how you find your direct object. Now, I'm going to erase this and teach you about the indirect object of a sentence. Well, before I write down a definition, I can tell you that an indirect object is very rare. Now, it's hard for me to write like this, so I'm going to move the board like this and then write. So, like I was saying, an indirect object is very rare. And to find an indirect object, you have to have a direct object in your sentence. Now, an indirect object receives the direct object. So, in my past example, which was Jimmy baked cookies. And I'm going to tweak that sentence a little bit and say Jimmy baked cookies for his class. Okay. For now, we're going to find our direct object, which is Jimmy, the subject, plus your verb, which is baked, plus the question what or who. And then that will give you cookies for your direct object. So I say we underline and label. That's DO for direct object. Then an indirect object receives the direct object. So Jimmy baked cookies, direct object. Who gets the cookies? Okay? His class. For his class. So class would be the indirect object. Now another example. John ate. Let's see, what did he eat? An apple. For his mom. Okay, now first you have to find the direct object, because you can't have an indirect object and not have a direct object, right? So John is your subject, plus your verb, which is ate. Ate what or who? And that what is an apple. So apple is your direct object. For his mom. So apple, and it is your direct object, and then your indirect object receives the direct object. So John ate an apple for his mom. Okay, so he's eating an apple for what? His mom. Indirect object. But there is one rule to this. Your indirect object will not be in a prepositional phrase. So like, let's see here. Just tweak that past example. John ate an apple on his mom. Okay? Your direct object is still apple. Label it. But since this here is a prepositional phrase, mom will not be the indirect object. So there will be no indirect object in this sentence. So there will be times when there is no indirect object in a sentence and just a direct object. And there may be times when there is no direct object. So I say we do one more example. So I'll erase the board. Let's do an example. Okay. So, Phil, let's think of an action verb. Phil played. Let's see, what did he play? He played baseball. Phil played baseball. Let's see. Phil played baseball. I think Phil played baseball with his dad. Okay. You're going to find your direct object. And so you're going to take your Phil, which is your subject. Label that S. Take your verb, which is played. And then played what or who? Played baseball. So that is your direct object with his dad. Dad would be the indirect object. Okay. Hopefully you can put this knowledge into your mind and use it for later. So I hope this video helped, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.